Ghana is on high alert over the threat of terrorism as the National Security Ministry issues a strong appeal to residents to be extra vigilant. According to the ministry, a number of Ghana's neighbors have suffered attacks from terrorist groups, and the country continue to be a target for these groups. They want churches, mosques and other places of mass gatherings to increase their vigilance and alert law enforcement agencies of any suspicious activities. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me on Zoom with details of this alert from the National Security Ministry. Kweku, first, what did the ministry say necessitated this call for caution? Kweku, kindly unmute so we can hear what you're saying. All right, so I think we're having some technical challenges. We'll resolve the line so we can get you details of this statement from the National Security, which is cautioning all of us to be on lookout for cautious activities. For if we feel that there's something that is not right, we should report to the law enforcement agencies. We'll be back to that story when the lines are clear. But boards of public entities have been cited for procurement irregularities, costing the state a whopping 580 million cedis. This was reviewed by the African Center for Energy Policy and Imani after an analysis of procurement processes from 2011 to 2021. The amount, according to the think tanks, was different from the value of the financial irregularities recorded by statutory institutions as well as stores of the ministry, department and agencies within the same period. Our research team has put together some graphics to help us break the situation down. Now, if you look at what we have on our screens now, procurement losses alone is amounting to some 850 million cedis from 2011 to 2021. That's a decade there. Now, we have tried to break it down for you to understand the entities and how much each of them is bringing about. If you look at it, okay, so amount lost by the public boards to procurement irregularities amount to 850 million cedis. Now let's break it down so that you can follow us exactly what the report cites in terms of what all of them have been doing. Now if you look at it, according to the report, Ghana Maritime Authority procurement breaches alone from 2015 to 2018 amount to some 1.3 million, and this is by the authority requesting for quotation instead of a national competitive tender, which has led to this particular loss. Now, the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority also used single sourcing procurement processes without the approval from the PPA board from 2017 to 2019, and this led to some 6.3 million cedis. Unused procured books, that's a value book cited by the AG's report in 2017, said we lost some 17.8 million cedis, and also loss from unused procured booklet for agencies or ministries. These booklets were procured for them to use, but none of them used it, and we incurred some 39.4 million cedis in losses. That is the details there. Now, for more on this, we've been joined on Zoom by procurement consultant Kobena Atta-Bedu. Sir, thank you for your time. How does this place our public board? What are really the challenges confronting our boards?
Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners. We are having an issue with proper regulation, compliance, and consequence management. Now, if I know that I can get away with something, I'll do it. And if I know that nobody will be able to do anything to me, I'll do it with impunity. And that is what we're experiencing right now.
Now, if you look at some of the reasons that they've given, that the board do things without the approval of PPA board and all of that. Now, 10 million value books worth 17.8 million and another 21.5 million booklet for ministries remain unused. Why does this keep occurring in the public sector, and how can we end this?
It comes back to consequence management and effective supervision or regulation. So the process is that every procurement entity must, at the beginning of the year, prepare its procurement plan. Now, it is up to the regulator to ensure that entities would be able to spend only on what is on the procurement plan. If it is not on the procurement plan, you can't spend. And that is the first step for control. So nobody can spend outside the procurement plan. Now, when you prepare the procurement plan, it allows you to put what you intend to buy. It allows you to estimate the value of the transaction. And it allows you to indicate the method you are going to use. Now, as procurement people, by our training, we have methodologies and we have models we use. There are some transactions when you see what needs to be bought, you know that this one must be competitively bidded for. If you are going to have to apply any other method other than competitive bidding, which is the default position according to law, then you are supposed to get an approval for the PPA. Now, one of the biggest challenges we are having with the Act interpretation, in my opinion. Why do I say this? The law requires that if you want to use single sourcing, it has stated conditions under which you can apply single sourcing. What it means is that if it is not any of them, you don't even have to go there. And if you are going to go there, it means you are going to cite one of those as the basis for which you are requiring approval. And the approval you are getting from PPA, it is not an approval contract or to buy. It is an approval to use that method. In practice, what I am finding with my colleagues and the entities is that they put the cart before the horse. They will request the quotations, do all the transaction, come to PPA and say, I want to buy this laptop, but I'm buying it on single source basis. Give me approval to buy. Now, when you go and ask, why did you do this? They say, oh, PPA approved. PPA didn't approve the contract. They didn't approve the purchase. They approved the method that we agree with you, don't use competitive bidding. Use single sourcing. Now, it is after. So if you read the act, you see that 40 is for single sourcing. And 41 will come and tell you the process you are supposed to use. So you are supposed to get the approval before you come and do the process of sourcing for quotation and evaluation and award and all that. But we always put the cart before the horse. And this once you have collected the quotation, you are likely to ignore PPA and move ahead with it. Especially when you know that PPA itself is not going to ask you any questions. It's not going to crack any whip on you. And eventually, even if the Auditor General comes and they find infractions, nobody's going to do anything. So you do it with impunity. And that is what is happening.
So that is where the challenge is again, because the law has also mandated a PPA board to ensure that these things are done according to what the law says, but they are not done. So it looks like we go around the problem and still come back to the same thing. So
the biggest challenge with the regulation is the board itself, the PPA board itself.
Exactly. What then must happen?
Yes, I have reason to cite this because you see, the law, the Act states clearly under Section 18, and I would like, with your permission, I would like to read that one. Sorry, governance. Okay, Section 4. I'd like to read Section 4. It says, 4.1, the governing body of the authority is a board consisting of 9 persons. A person competent and experienced in public procurement as the chairperson. Now, my question, who is the board chair of Public Procurement Authority as we speak today? That is Professor Mary Kumfi. He is a fantastic educationist, PhD in zoology, but not an expert in public procurement. By law, if we say somebody is competent, he has gone to school, he's been examined, he's been certified. If we say someone is experienced, it means he has held a job and practiced it. He hasn't done any of it, so what is he doing there? Next, it says 4 persons from the public sector made up of 1 representative of the Attorney General. So there's a representative of the Attorney General. And 3 persons nominated by the minister, one of whom is a woman, so one of them is a woman, each of whom is a person who has experience in public procurement. experience in public procurement means they should have practiced procurement. But be that as it may, it is they're coming from the public sector. I don't have a problem if the Minister of Finance put all of them, because all of them, as it stands now, are coming from the Finance Ministry. And they understand multilateral agency procurement procedures, so no problem with that. A C is the problem. 3 persons from the private sector who are experienced in procurement, not necessarily public procurement. Why did the framers of the Act put this condition here? Because of what we call groupthink in nature. Now, when you have people in the public service, they think in a certain way based on the constraints within which they work. When you bring people from the private sector, they come with a different mentality, different mindset, different best practices that they can cross-fertilize the public service systems. So the Act consciously said that these 3 people should be from the private sector and they should be experienced procurement people. The question is, these 3 people, are they experienced procurement people? No. One is a lawyer. One is an investment banker. Believe you me, the 3rd one, I have searched online everywhere for his background. I can't see his digital footprint. I don't know what his background is. What are they doing there?
So in your...
So the capacity on that 9-member board, the only person who has competence, as in examined, certified, and experience is the chief executive, is Frank Mande. It is not enough for a board of 9. Only one person understands the theory, the concepts, the strategies, and everything we do in procurement. Only one person out of the 9 fully understands that. And that is why we have situations like that we have.
So in your estimation, the problem is the PPA board?
It's the board.
Thank you, sir. I'm grateful for your time to join us here on Joy News Prime. Now, moving on, Ghana is on high alert over the threat of terrorism as the National Security Ministry issues a strong appeal to residents to be extra vigilant. According to the ministry, a number of Ghana's neighbors have suffered attacks from terrorist groups, and the country continues to be a target for these groups. They want churches, mosques, and other places of mass gatherings to increase their vigilance and alert law enforcement agencies of any suspicious activities. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me on Zoom with details of this alert from the National Security Ministry. First, Kweku, what did the ministry say necessitated this call for caution?
So, Brace, we know that in the last few weeks, there have been significant and consistent reports from either multilateral agencies or independent bodies warning that Ghana could be at risk. We know that just last week, there were some attacks in Togo where about 8 military men were killed by suspected terrorists. And so Ghana since then has been putting its borders, its immigration service and military on high alert in order to prevent any such attacks from happening. And so the National Security Ministry is warning that with this string of information that they have, and also the WACI report that came in recently suggesting that Ghana may be very ripe for terrorist attack, they are putting Ghana on the alert against any such threats in the next few months. And so they are using these warnings, this information that has come from multilateral agencies, that has come from WACI and the rest, as basis to warn that Ghanaians must be on high alert. They must look around them. They must ensure that they report to the security agencies all suspicious activities. Brace.
Well, what more did the ministry say apart from saying that some of these terrorist groups have made Ghana a target?
So they've been talking about churches, mosques, and other mass gatherings in terms of what they can do to safeguard the rest of the country. We know that when these terrorist activities happen, they usually happen in such places, churches, mosques, and places of mass gatherings. And so the security minister, in this statement that he put out, is warning that churches, mosques, and these mass gatherings places must ensure that they beef up their security, but not only that, they must ensure that all such suspicious activities that they see must be reported to the security agencies and other law enforcement for some of these issues to be clamped down. They are warning that they, on the part of the security installations, are very much on the alert on the borders and doing all that they must do to ensure that the country is safe. But also that Ghanaians have a collective responsibility. They have a role to play to ensure that this does not become a reality. We know that Ghana has been shielded so far from some of these terrorist attacks, but neighbors haven't been spared. but now Ghana is said to be a real threat, and the National Security Minister is saying that Ghanaians, residents, citizens must all take this as a responsibility and ensure that we report all such suspicious activities. Brace.
Thank you, Kweku.